Hello, everybody. Welcome to the AV Geeks Lunchtime Streaming Show. I'm Skip Elsheimer, and we watch old 16mm films. And over the weekend, I decided, as an experiment, to just let it run for 68 hours. 4 hours shy of how many days would that be? 3 days. Just to kind of see. What I did is I basically created a playlist out of 330 films that we had scanned for the AV Geeks 100 Indiegogo fundraising campaign. We did this some time ago in August. This is probably, I don't know, 10 years ago, 11 years ago. And so anyways, we raised money to scan our own films and to put them online, different places. And so anyways, I just kind of put in a playlist, shuffled it, and let it run to see what happened. And I was pleasantly surprised to see a lot of people watching. I wasn't so pleasantly surprised to see all the bots that showed up. But yeah, it was an experiment. And I also asked folks whether or not they liked, via polls, whether or not they wanted there to be a 24/7 channel. And what I might do is do a poll here with you guys and try to drill down a little bit into it. Because from my standpoint, it wasn't a lot of work to do what I just did, but I would want to improve it, and so I'm going to ask questions related to that. Anyway, so much overhead. We just want to watch 16mm films, Skip. Come on. All right, so I've got behind me, film scanner, and a fellow collector, filmmaker, Craig Baldwin, sent me a giant box of films, including this next reel, which I'm excited to see. I haven't seen it, so let's go ahead and watch some live film transfer. That's what we like. Let's do it. All right, enjoy.
Madame is extremely particular. She insists on the finest grapefruit. Florigold, Florida's finest. A discriminating grapefruit. Thin skin, bursting with juice. Madam must have a Florigold grapefruit for weight watching. Rich in vitamin C, naturally nutritious for lat.
And here's our new tennis champ, fans, Maynard Gumbody. Beautiful match, Maynard. But you're really doing a job on those whites with that drippy ice cream bar. Whew. Ever hear of No Drip Good Humor, Maynard? Real creamy tasting ice cream and lots of fun flavors. Only it's no drip, melts slow, drips less. Won't mess you up. Try No Drip Good Humor, Maynard. How about you, fans? Good humor, anyone?
France, where good food is a passion and the art of cooking has reached its highest state, we asked editors of leading French women's magazines to test Bluebonnet against butter.
We each had favorite recipes prepared using butter and Bluebonnet margarine. We all tried to tell the difference, but could not.
The dishes taste the same. Even on bread, excellent. No difference.
Bluebonnet against butter. Even French cooking experts can't taste the difference.
Weren't biting?
No, the mosquitoes were.
And I got a rope burn.
I got a cut.
Now I've got the Bactine. Line up. You first, Susie.
For mosquito bites and those little cuts and scrapes, Bactine eases pain, fights germs that can cause infection.
Thanks, Doc.
Sure.
Fishing, anyone?
Here, Tad.
This may be the best catch of the day.
Bactine helps the hurt stop hurting.
Hey, Green Giant! Our group is touring 15 valleys in 14 days. Anything special here?
The Giant's frozen broccoli is something special. Tender young broccoli spears with firm small heads, frozen in a pouch with the Giant's special butter sauce. You cook the broccoli in butter sauce, not water, so you get all its special flavor. Green Giant brand frozen broccoli.
If this is broccoli, it must be Tuesday.
Ho ho.
How much are you going to know tomorrow morning about what went on in the world of business today? Right now, Wall Street Journal business news experts around the world, not just in Europe and South America, but in places like Tokyo, Singapore, and Hong Kong, are at work reporting any significant business news that can help you do your job better tomorrow. If anything happens anywhere today that can affect you and your business, we want you to read about it in the Wall Street Journal tomorrow. Pick up a copy.
Sometimes your nose gets stuffed. Then all you want to do is breathe fast. That's what neosynephrine is all about. Breathing. Cold or sinus congestion. It starts unstuffing your nose in seconds, so you breathe better and feel better fast. Nobody knows noses like neosynephrine, the brand of nasal decongestant doctors recommend most.
Before you say anything, this Cutlass Supreme, it's got a great new ride. Now, what else will I tell her? Honey, it wasn't that much for an Oldsmobile. Look at the room and these seats, 6 inches of foam. Honey, there's even a new front bumper system that can really take a bump.
What's this?
It's the new Olds Cutlass Supreme. It followed me home. Can I keep it?
What a step up! Holy cow! They'll never believe it if your friends could see you now.
If you love the look of heirloom china, you'll love the look of these pretty new tubs Soft Bluebonnet Margarine now comes in. Yes, these heirloom china design tubs come filled with the famous Bluebonnet taste more women use for butter than any other margarine. Now Soft Bluebonnet gives you the finishing flavor touch for your food, together with a china design tub that's the finishing touch for your table.
Everything's better with Bluebonnet on it. Without buckets, you don't use stick. It's quick and it's strong. Tough grease, grime, and gook are no match for its power. You spray it, you wipe it, and
there it is gone.
Cleaning's a tough job, so be sure your cleaner's more than tough. Be sure it's fantastic.
And sure,
it's more than tough. It's fantastic. From Texsize.
Look what's new. Tender Bits. Imagine canned cat food that smells good enough to eat, looks good enough to eat. It's diced Tender Bits. Fluffy, wait till you taste this. Hey, take your time. Tender Bits stays juicy fresh for hours. What smells and looks good enough to eat stays juicy fresh for hours. Tender Bits. New Tender Bits from Tabby. What a difference.
A great hamburger.
I think so.
Want to make a better burger?
I'll try. Lipton make a better burger. New.
Mix Lipton's nourishing soy protein and seasonings with your ground beef. It not only turns 4 burgers into 8 burgers, but Lipton guarantees you'll like the flavor better than plain ground beef, or your money back from Lipton with proof of purchase.
Now that is a better burger.
Onion, chili, hickory, or mildly seasoned.
Let Lipton help you make a better burger.
Here's a new little bit of magic for your kitchen. The new Presto Burger electric hamburger cooker shapes and broils a delicious extra juicy hamburger in just 60 seconds with no spattering, no mess. It's ideal for on-the-go teens, busy mothers, college students, singles, and couples. What a gift for the burger lover in your life. The new Presto Burger. Get one or give one. Available now at these fine stores.
There lives in each of us ties to the old world, an appreciation of styles that resist the whims of centuries, the timeless quality found in every bottle of Mateus Rosé.
The wine that goes with everything good, a taste of yesterday, the wine that brings the old world home. Hey, 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 Mateus Rosé.
Recipe alone. Even good old Lipton onion dip. They feel compelled to add something, like vegetables, or seafood, or cheese. Make the Lipton onion dip we all know and love a new experience. Lipton onion dip. It's as many different dips as there are great chefs.
In the good old Lipton time, the refreshing Lipton time.
Blow
Breakthrough tea bags give you not one, but 2 bags of flavor. More tea? No more tea flavor. More brisk refreshment from your iced tea.
There's brisk iced tea for you and me in the good old Lipton time.
I always gave the furniture I built rubbed in Paste Wax Beauty, but now I get Paste Wax Beauty instantly with New Pledge. This table was rubbed with Paste Wax for 12 minutes and a lot of muscle. Now I'll dust this one with New Pledge. You know, Pledge now has an enriched formula containing key ingredients found in Johnson Paste Wax. To me, it's a dead ringer for the Paste Wax shine. So, for the rubbed-in beauty of Paste Wax instantly, dust with New Pledge.
When royalty visits the valley, the giant rolls out the green carpet and brings out something special.
Oh, the little Monsieur peas.
Tender little peas with a rare, delicate flavor, frozen in a pouch with the giant's special butter sauce. You cook the peas in butter sauce, not water, so you get all their special flavor. The giant's frozen Le Sueur brand peas. Next time your family wants something special,
Let them eat these. Oh.
These are Wishbone people. People who thrive on good food, good friends, the good life. They're people who really like salads. And for them, there's a dressing full of chunky bits of sweet, tender onion. Wishbone California onion dressing with a taste as fresh and zesty as your way of life itself. Wishbone California onion for people who really like salads.
Paris, Rome. We took stick bluebonnet margarine to Europe and had gourmet experts test it against the best butter in cooking, in sauces, on meat, fish, poultry, and the experts loved it.
No difference. Superbe. Magnifico.
We find no difference.
Bluebonnet stick and bluebonnet soft in heirloom China design tubs. Do your own tests and see why more women use bluebonnet than any other margarine.
Before I became a mother, I'd eat up any canned soup. But now that I have kids, I want something that really tastes fresh. So now I make Lipton noodle soup. First I boil the water, then I add the ingredients, then I stir and simmer. Does that taste terrific? When you become a mother, make Lipton for your kids too. Lipton noodle soup. It isn't soup till mother makes. For years and years, I served my husband canned soup. But then I said to myself, you know, all I get to do is reheat it. So now I cook up Lipton soup. It really tastes fresh. First I boil the water, then I add the ingredients, then I stir and simmer. Does that smell delicious? George loves it, and so do I. Lipton Italian vegetable. It isn't soup till mother makes it.
These are Wishbone people. People who thrive on good food, good friends, the good life. They're people who really like salads. And for them, there's only Wishbone. Wishbone salad dressings with exciting flavors perfectly blended to give salads a taste as fresh and zesty as your way of life itself. Wishbone. For people who really like salads. Introducing something new for Wishbone people. Now Wishbone brings you real blue cheese in an exciting new dressing for people who really like salads. Announcing new Wishbone chunky blue cheese dressing, brimming with chunks made with real blue cheese, hearty chunks you can really see and really taste. New Wishbone chunky blue cheese dressing for people who really like salads.
Heat's something fierce out in these here parts, folks. But old Scotty knows how to keep his cool. Right, Gertrude? No drip, good humor. Creamy tasting old-fashioned ice cream made a special way so it melts slow, drips less, lasts longer. Good humor comes in mind-blowing flavors, too. Strawberry shortcake, toasted almond, chocolate eclair, assorted whammies, and lots more. No drip, good humor. Better than gold. Take it from Scotty.
Butter.
Parquet.
Butter.
Parquet margarine.
Butter.
Let me taste you. You're right, it's butter.
Parquet.
You're silly.
Parquet margarine from Kraft. The flavor says butter.
To Philly, Philadelphia brand cream cheese. Smooth and delicious. Guaranteed fresh when you buy it, or your money back from Kraft. You get what you pay for.
These are Wishbone people. People who thrive on good food, good friends, the good life. They're people who really like salads. And for them, there's Wishbone Italian, the dressing blended to give your salads a taste as fresh and zesty as your way of life itself. Wishbone Italian, the real Italian. For people who really like salads.
These are Wishbone people. For them, there's Wishbone Thousand Island dressing, thick and creamy. You find Wishbone people everywhere. They're people who really like salads and who love the velvety smoothness and mild taste of Wishbone Deluxe French dressing. Then there's Wishbone Italian, the real Italian, with a blend that makes good salads taste even better. Wishbone, for people who really like salads.
And you wake up this morning to Philadelphia brand cream cheese.
Philadelphia brand. Smooth, rich, and guaranteed fresh when you buy it, or your money back from Kraft. You get what you pay for.
Roger Roku, famed for the culinary excellence of his La Mer Guy restaurant, received the French Medal of Merit. So we asked him to test Bluebonnet against butter in side-by-side tests in his most demanding recipes.
I was at first hesitant, but Bluebonnet performed exceptionally. Neither myself nor my customers could taste the difference. Superb.
Bluebonnet against butter. Even a French master chef can't taste a difference. If you love the look of heirloom china, you'll love the look of these pretty new tubs soft Bluebonnet margarine now comes in. Yes, these heirloom china design tubs come filled with the famous Bluebonnet taste more women use for butter than any other margarine. Now soft Bluebonnet gives you the finishing flavor touch for your food, together with a china design tub that's the finishing touch for your table.
Everything's better with Bluebonnet on it.
Doors. Doors are this man's business. He's the best burglar around, but he wants more. Find out what goes on in a burglar's head when he's better at his job than his victims are at theirs. Doors by best-selling writer Ezra Hannon. Doors. Get it before your burglar does.
These are Wishbone people. For them, there's Wishbone Thousand Island dressing, thick and creamy. You find Wishbone people everywhere. They're people who really like salads and who love the velvety smoothness and mild taste of Wishbone Deluxe French dressing. Then there's Wishbone Italian, the real Italian, with a blend that makes good salads taste even better. Wishbone, for people who really like salads.
I'm not easy to please. I've always been tough to cook for, especially when it's soup. Give me a soup I can eat without crackers. Noodles with character. A green bean worthy of the name. Give me a freshly simmered soup that smells as good as it tastes. Lipton Italian vegetable. It's a soup after my own heart.
Lipton soup. It always smells fresh and tastes good because it's never been soup before.
What's for dessert tonight, Tiger?
Hold on to your space helmet, Rick. Ta-da! No drip good humors and dynamite flavors.
How the?
Smuggled a whole bunch aboard just before blast-off. Strawberry shortcake, toasted almond, chocolatey clear, assorted whammies.
Good humor, my favorite dessert.
And don't forget, they're no drip.
So?
They melt slow, drip less, so they won't get our spacesuits messed up.
Oh, right. No drip good humor. They're out of this world, Earthlings. Hey, fella. That's a real classy car. Too bad you're messing it up with that drippy ice cream bar.
Oh, kittens. You ought to check out No Drip Good Humor. Real creamy tasting old-fashioned ice cream. Made a special way, so it melts slow, drips less. Don't get messy. Comes in out-of-sight flavors, too. Here, try No Drip Good Humor, fella. Good humor's good, clean fun.
I wouldn't take a chance washing Michael's hair with anything but Johnson's baby shampoo. Because it won't irritate his eyes the way other shampoos can. Look, no more tears. I know if Michael ever got an ordinary shampoo in his eyes, he'd be afraid to have his hair washed. But we feel safe with Johnson's. Your hair's so shiny and soft. Don't take a chance with little eyes. Use Johnson's baby shampoo from Johnson & Johnson.
Butter. Butter.
Parquet margarine.
Butter.
Oh, Parquet, now you know you're margarine. Parquet margarine.
Butter.
No. Parquet.
Butter.
Parquet.
Butter.
I am not telling you again. I'm just tasting you. Light, creamy, delicate. Butter.
Parquet.
Parquet margarine from Kraft. The flavor says butter.
Doesn't make good hamburgers anymore.
Oh, really?
Burger. It's new. It makes plump, juicy hamburgers in 4 mouth-watering flavors. Onion, chili, hickory, or mildly seasoned.
And because it's nutritious soy protein, it turns 4 burgers into 8 burgers.
Now that's a better burger. Terrific, honey. Lipton, make a better burger. Great for meatloaf.
Here comes Kugel, the Kraft Peanutty surprise.
This is Kugel peanut spread from Kraft. It not only tastes like peanuts, it comes in flavors. And chocolate, vanilla, banana, and cinnamon. Kugel spread's creamy smooth, too. And it's delicious on bread or crackers or almost anything. And it doesn't make my mouth stick together. And it doesn't make my mouth stick together.
You'll love Kugel, the Kraft Peanutty surprise.
Some of my best customers are always towing things. Pretty soon I'm towing them. Keep telling them you gotta have a vehicle designed to tow, like that International Travelall. It's got a truck-built engine, frame, and cooling system. You got a boat or a trailer to tow in style? Get the International Travelall. You ready, Frankie? Ready, Vic.
The International Travelall. It's the wagon built to tow practically anything.
What big ears you have, Granny.
All the better to hear you with, Little Red Riding Hood.
And what big teeth you have, Granny.
All the better to eat.
The lovely No Drip Good Humor ice cream I brought you. Real creamy tasting ice cream made a special way. So it melts slow, drips less, lasts longer.
More licks to the stick, eh? Pretty foxy, Red Riding person.
No Drip Good Humor. Granny really wolfs them down.
What did you like best about Kay's dinner? Oh, and that flaming dessert with coffee?
Great coffee.
You noticed the coffee?
Man, so many great 70s tropes in there. Recognizable character actors who showed up. And the fact that you guys are still suffering from the grape nuts damage that I inflicted you on last week. Vic Tayback, also big fan. I went to Mel's Diner in Phoenix, and they did not have grits. They were out. We went there for lunch. No grits. It's a fail right there. Yeah, so anyways, that was a compilation reel of a bunch of TV ads from the 70s. And lots of margarine, man. Lots of margarine. Yeah. Anyways, speaking of eating, this next film is a young American film, How Animals Eat. Enjoy.
This might be you and your family at the breakfast table almost any morning, eating the foods you need to keep you healthy and make you grow up strong. Of course, when you eat, you have these things to help you. And the foods you eat are cooked meats from animals, cooked vegetables, and raw vegetables. Why, you're not so different from other animals, are you? But what about these foods? You don't find them on your table. Many animals do. Let's see how some of the animals catch and eat their food. Throughout your life, you've watched your pets or farm animals eat their food. Perhaps you've seen the flat, stubby teeth that cows have for grinding up the grasses and grains they eat. But did you ever notice some of the ways in which other kinds of animals are equipped for eating? Well, we're going to look at a few of them right now. These birds are eagles, and a great deal of their food is meat. Eagles have sharp beaks for tearing their food into small bits, beaks which they often use for killing small prey. And they have strong, sharp claws for holding their food while they tear it to pieces with their beaks. Many other animals are equipped in the same way. This is Roadrunner, another meat-eating bird, a curious bird with strange eating habits. He likes snakes, lizards, and snails, especially snails like this one. The Roadrunner's sharp eyes help him find his food, and he soon spies the snail. Snails have hard shells to protect their soft bodies, but the Roadrunner has a way to solve that problem. He merely goes to the nearest rock, and then he pounds and pounds the snail on it until the shell breaks, so that he can get at the snail inside. Mr. Roadrunner's strong beak comes in mighty handy in helping him get his food. The pelican is a funny-looking bird. He fishes for his food. The lower part of his large beak sometimes serves as a great pouch in which to hold the fish he catches. The pelicans fly over the water searching for fish, which is their main food. When a pelican sights food in the water below him, he dives down to the surface. As soon as he spots a fish in the water, he dips in with his huge beak and comes up with a fish. Having a beak such as the pelican has is almost like having your own built-in fishing rod. The common garden spider, who usually lives in the tall grass, spins a sticky web in which to catch and store her food supply. She lives chiefly on insects. When an insect gets caught in the sticky web, it's held fast. And Mrs. Spider immediately begins to spin more web in which to wrap the insect so that he'll stay there until she's ready to eat him at some later time. This insect, the praying mantis, looks much like a leaf or green twig. If he remains quiet and motionless, his meal sometimes will come to him. In cases like this, his great oversized claws are useful for holding the captured insect, and the sharp jaws are built for chewing right through a piece of food. Notice the way in which the mantis holds his food while eating. After a hearty meal on a nice juicy insect, the praying mantis washes himself, much like a cat, licking his paws and forelegs and wiping his jaws. This animal has a very special diet. Ants. That's why he's called an anteater. He's equipped with a long, thin, sticky tongue, which he uses to pick up the ants. He searches for his food wherever ants may live, on the ground or in the trees. An old, partly rotten tree is just the place to look for them. He hunts around until he locates a nest of live ants. If he finds no opening in it, he makes one so he can get his long tongue into the nest. If you look closely, you can see the large toenails or claws on each front foot. The anteater uses these to rip the nest apart so he can scoop up the ants with his long, sticky tongue. The raccoon likes crabs and other shellfish, which he catches easily. These small crabs will make a very tasty meal for Mr. Raccoon. But sometimes one gets away from him, and he has to dig for it. The raccoon also likes fish, which he catches with his front paws and eats with his sharp teeth. Most interesting of all, the raccoon washes his food whenever possible, turning it over and over in the water while he's eating. So it is that every animal in this world is especially equipped in some manner to catch and eat the food it must have in order to survive, food which it must have to live and reproduce its kind. How sharp are your eyes? Can you discover what special equipment this animal has for food getting? Perhaps this clue will help you. Do you see now? In what special way is this animal equipped to catch and eat its food? Does this help you find out? This one should be easy to discover. Do you see? Perhaps you can discover other examples in the animals you see in your books or all around you almost every day.
Yeah, so Young American Films, I don't think they actually made their own films. I think that they hired other companies like McGraw-Hill, Centron, and probably some others. And then they distributed them. And they added their awesome logo with the eagle with a little sickle in its eye. And that wonderful organ music. Big fan of that organ music. So I'm going through a bunch of this Craig Baldwin stuff and he's got a lot of commercials. So we're going to be watching a lot of commercials this week. So if you like that type of thing. But one of the things is I don't have a film set up because I'm still going through. But all that mention of margarine earlier, we have to watch this. This is a great film because it is, one, in beautiful color. Two, it shows you about bread, and it talks about enrichment wafers, which makes bread more nutritious for you. Enjoy.
One of the most exciting stories of our time is being written on the sports pages of our newspapers. Since 1941, nearly every record on the books has been broken. Even our high school athletes of today are turning in performances which equal or better yesterday's college and Olympic marks. And coaches and athletic directors agree that better nutrition is an important part of this exciting story. Medical records since 1940s over dread diseases and health problems which have plagued mankind for centuries. Here, too, improved nutrition plays an important part. But we don't have to follow or read medical records to find the benefits of improved nutrition, for we are reaping those benefits every day of our lives. Each member of today's family is living a richer, happier life, and better nutrition plays its part in helping us enjoy life to the fullest by helping us to enjoy better health. Better nutrition begins with an abundance of wholesome foods. Foods combined so that each meal gives us the balanced variety we need for proper nourishment. Bread has always been one of the most important of these foods. And since the introduction of enriched bread in 1941, our staff of life has become even more important to our diet. In fact, authorities agree that the enrichment of bread has been a major factor in the greater vigor of our young people, in the conquering of nutritional diseases, and in the improvement of health since 1941. Enriched bread is good white bread made better by the addition of iron to help build red blood, plus 3 B vitamins, thiamine for sound nerves and good appetite, niacin for normal tissues, and riboflavin for growth and healthy skin. Medical and nutritional authorities agree on the contribution which enrichment has made to our health. Here, speaking for those authorities, is Dr. W. W. Bauer, Director of Health Education for the American Medical Association.
Recent years have seen a remarkable improvement in the nutritional health of America. Much of this improvement has been credited to the enrichment of white bread, that tasty, beautifully textured bread on every table in America at every meal. Before this enrichment, nutritional deficiencies were widespread among our people. Today, physicians do not see them anymore. We owe a real debt to the baking industry, which has made this improvement possible, and all without any additional cost to the public.
Best of all, bread is a delicious food. Its flavor blends perfectly with other foods, adding zest and enjoyment to any meal. And bread is an abundant food. Today's modern high-production baking methods provide us all with a never-ending supply of this vital food at a very moderate cost. As it has for generations, the baker's day begins while the rest of us are still snug and warm in our beds. To the bakery come giant freight cars loaded with their precious cargoes of snowy flour. The flour is transferred to the bakery's pantry, the ingredient room. Here it is stored in... Flour, of course, is only one of the ingredients which go into today's enriched bread. Also included is creamy shortening, non-fat dry milk, salt, sugar, yeast, and enrichment wafers. Each of these wafers is a concentrated combination of iron and 3 B vitamins. Just 8 of these wafers supply the necessary enrichment for 1,000 loaves of bread. Now, let's watch as these ingredients are combined and processed in a modern bakery to produce our daily bread. The first step is the sifting and blending of just the right amounts of different types of flour, each adding its own qualities to the finished blend. The blended flour moves through pneumatic tubes to storage in the hoppers on the mixing machines. Each of these measuring cups holds just enough flour for one batch of bread. For this first mix, the flour is combined with filtered water, yeast, and a solution of dissolved enrichment wafers. The result of the first mix is a soft, springy mass called the sponge. The sponge is flipped into a large trough, or trough as the bakers call it. The trough is wheeled to the fermentation area. Here, the air is kept constantly warm and moist. The yeast in the sponge begins to work, filling the sponge with millions of tiny bubbles, and it rises to the top of the trough. The sponge is then returned to another mixing machine for the second mix. Milk solids, sugar, salt, shortening, and more flour and water are added and mixed with the sponge. The product of this second mixing process is the actual bread dough. The dough goes to the fermentation area for another rest period. Again, the yeast begins to work and the dough rises to the top of the trough. Then the entire batch of risen dough goes to the divider. The divider accurately separates the dough into equal portions. Each of these pieces will eventually become a loaf of bread. From the divider, the pieces of dough move on to the next step, a roller coaster ride on the rounder. This interesting machine rolls the dough into identical balls. The plump dough balls are then off for a trip through an overhead tunnel called the proofer. Inside the proofer, the dough rises again in the warm, moist air. The dough emerges from the proofer and passes through the molder. The molder flattens the dough balls into pancake shape, breaking up any large bubbles to assure a smooth, even texture in the finished loaf. Then, the final shaping process as the dough pancakes are rolled into cylinders, dropped into pans, and sent for another slow trip through the final proofer. Each pan of dough emerges from the final proofing plump, rounded, and ready for the oven. Like our ovens at home, the baker's oven is controlled by thermostats to maintain an even baking temperature. However, the baker's oven is called a traveling oven. The pans of dough move through it, baking as they go. This one is 110 feet long and produces 4,800 loaves of bread per hour. At the end of their leisurely journey, the fresh, golden loaves emerge from the oven and are flipped from their pans. Then, each loaf is slowly cooled to room temperature. The final step is slicing and wrapping to seal in the oven-fresh goodness and flavor of each loaf. Then, onto the bakery trucks for quick delivery to our stores and homes. But the cycle continues, for the making of bread is a never-ending job. But the proof of the loaf is in the eating. Who can resist the tempting goodness of fresh baked bread? By itself or combined with other wholesome foods in tasty sandwiches, bread adds enjoyment to any meal. And American bakers produce a wide variety of breads to provide us with an interesting change of pace in our daily menus. Delicately flavored table rolls, and the all-American favorites, hot dog rolls and hamburger buns. Tangy, robust rye breads. French and Vienna bread with their golden crust and melt-in-your-mouth centers. Whole wheat or cracked wheat bread with its hearty, nut-like flavor. Raisin bread, sprinkled through and through with tender nuggets of tasty goodness. Yes, our daily bread is available to all of us in abundant variety. And no diet is truly complete without this basic food. Only 6 slices of enriched bread a day make a very important contribution to our daily food needs, supplying important percentages of protein, calcium, iron, thiamine, niacin, riboflavin, and essential calories for energy. Today's enriched bread takes its rightful place along with the other foods we should include in our daily diet. Green and yellow vegetables, meat, poultry, fish, eggs, dried peas, dried beans, and nuts, potatoes and other vegetables and fruits, milk and milk products, oranges, tomatoes, grapefruit, and other vitamin C-rich foods. By eating a balanced variety of our 6 basic foods, including 6 to 8 slices of bread a day, we are able to play our part in the most exciting story of the time, the story of a fuller, happier, richer life for all of us. Remember, enriched bread enriches health.
So I did that. I did a show which was called Why We're Fat, and I basically took films that talked about the food groups, and I sorted it by most food groups, which was 7, down to 2 food groups, and this was one of them. And what was interesting is the ones that were sponsored by the different professional groups, lobbyist organizations, they were the ones that featured prominently whatever they were selling. So the American Baker Association, of course, talks about how great bread is for the diet. And they also mentioned it's great because we have these enrichment wafers that takes the flour where we ground all of the nutritional value out of it, and then we added it back. Likewise, the American Dairy Association had one where they talked about the importance of dairy and also about margarine and butter as one of the food groups. And I also included the Adventures of Chip and Dip, of course, which talked about how important potato chips were to your diet. Okay, so behind me I got another film set up. And I also, in the comments, if you saw the, that's not right. If you saw the show, the streaming show, please email me comments at avgeeks@gmail.com. I'm actually typing here. Talk to me about or didn't like on the show. yeah, I have some follow-up questions that I think are just more than what a poll can do, and I appreciate, and I do want to listen to you. I did see new faces there, but I don't know if I engaged them. Said like, "Hey, come back," and those are things that I'm trying to figure out. And one thing is, I don't want to fatigue you guys. I don't want your eyeballs to fall out and go like, you know what? I watched so many AV Geeks films this week. I'm not interested in watching any more. And likewise, I don't want to burn out. So, anyways, where were we? Somebody wanted to see my keyboard. I'm not going to show you. It's nasty. It's an old Mac keyboard. All right, I'm back. Showing films. That's what we're doing. I haven't changed the title for this, but this is Campus on the March. Enjoy.
These words of Thomas Jefferson, author of the Declaration of Independence, 3rd President of the United States, founder of the University of Virginia, have a special meaning for colleges and universities today. The appeal to force is being answered by the youth of America. 1,500 colleges throughout are being converted to the war effort. All branches of the armed forces need the trained mind. In consultation with faculty and advisory officers, students are guided to the specialized training they need for war work. Virginia's Dawn Patrol, composed of voluntary students who are eager to equip themselves for advanced military training to follow. This is the spirit of young men today. Naval ROTC units throughout the country train thousands of students. Virginia cadets are taught the mathematical problems of navigation by experienced officers. Students learn military phrases and aviation terms to aid understanding at the many foreign fronts. Medical schools are turning out doctors and nurses faster than ever before. Today, military medicine is required by all medical students. Doctors in the making are signed for active service months ahead of graduation. Complete combat units are formed ready for the call to duty abroad. Blood banks in college hospitals supply valuable plasma to the many battle fronts. University facilities over the country are being used by the armed forces. In the Virginia Law School, for the first time, a class in military government is held. High-ranking officers study for future assignments to govern occupied territories. College aerodynamics departments supply many engineers to aviation plants. Well-equipped laboratories give training to future designers. Nearly 80,000 new flyers have already started their careers at 600 college airfields over the nation. This civilian pilot training course is now on a wartime basis. Though small, these planes give the students the feel of flying and are also used by the Army as observers to direct ground traffic and gunfire. Indiana's Purdue University has seen from the air. Many heroes of today received their preliminary instruction at these college fields. Upon graduation, college flying classes often enter advanced training in squadrons to fly together in combat, taking the effective teamwork of American athletes to the dogfights in the air. Here, secret experimental work is sponsored by the government under the guidance of aeronautical engineers. It takes 36 men to keep each four-motored bomber flying. Ground school classes in colleges all over the country teach students the fundamentals of plane construction and the theory of flying. The world's largest and finest facilities for supplying trained manpower are pledged to meet our immediate and long-range war needs. Machines and the brains to direct these instruments of warfare win the wars of today. these great mine power plants are meeting the challenge. Purdue engineer students get experience with the tools that produce war materials by actually making parts for war machines. Practice is combined with theory in this mechanical designing class. And this Ordnance Inspectors Group sends men and women to the plants that produce our guns, tanks, and machines. Most engineer students are already enlisted in the armed forces. This Signal Corps group works with ultra-high frequencies for special training in the operation of plane and submarine detectors. There are now about 218,000 college students enrolled in the Army ROTC courses who are enlisted in some branch of the armed forces. These Purdue cadets are part of the largest college field artillery unit in the country. Long hours of practice with fully motorized equipment give students the training that makes them efficient at the battlefronts. When the full course is completed, they are ready for active duty as well-trained soldiers. Servicemen with books, now a common sight on the campus. At many colleges, the armed forces have stationed men to get specialized training. These sailors compete for higher ratings as electrician mates. Thousands of college women now volunteer for courses that train them for jobs vacated by men gone to war. Purdue co-eds take advantage of engineering equipment by learning how to operate communications offices. Farm help is a problem that women will now be called upon more than ever to solve. These college girls want to be ready for duty at the home fronts. Many women's colleges are awake to the need of preparing for war work. They are guiding their courses to fit in the war program. Women are needed in all branches of aviation. Technical knowledge enables them to fill many jobs held exclusively by men before the war. Ferry pilots are needed, and women can fill these important jobs. They, too, must take essential ground school instruction. The basic knowledge of flying helps them to staff the many airline ticket offices. Many men can be relieved of jobs in radio repair by trained women workers. Girls learn to staff radio stations as technicians, writers, and announcers. In the increasingly technical field of industrial and military service, colleges everywhere are designing courses to supply trained men and women. At the University of Texas, located in Austin, the state capital, petroleum engineering is naturally considered important. The petroleum needs of the United Nations are studied by students who will soon be ready for field assignments. This is a pilot plant for converting natural gas to acetylene, which may be a basic requirement for making synthetic rubber. This advanced class in aeronautics, added for the war effort, gives students a thorough appreciation of what makes airplane motors work. Latin American relations are emphasized at Texas. This group is studying our mutual problems in order to promote better understanding of our southern neighbors. Students broadcast in Spanish to Central and South American countries from the campus radio station. Decoding and censorship agencies need people versed in the languages of our enemies. This group is learning Japanese. The Science of Nutrition Home Economics Department. Here, an advanced class is doing research work on the vitamin content of ordinary foodstuffs in an attempt to improve diets at home. Special classes like this drafting group have been added to train women for jobs in the war plants. And this university nursery class trains girls to relieve mothers for work at the industrial front. At Cornell University in New York State, the peaceful appearance of the campus has changed. More than 1,000 new uniformed men have been added. Like Dartmouth, Notre Dame, and Harvard, for example, Cornell is being used by the Navy to train recently commissioned civilians. Besides drill routine, they must learn naval regulations, organization, and discipline. Ensigns study the operation and maintenance of diesel motors for engineer duty on patrol boats. The Cornell ROTC unit learns how to use gunfire control instruments, how to establish the communication centers at battlefronts, and the operation of portable equipment so important in fast-moving troop maneuvers. Rolling stock must be kept in repair, and these cadets practice on Army trucks. The artillery unit drills for speed and precision. Learning how to make the instruments of war is a requirement of the engineering department. Here, high school teachers learn to make gliders to train students of the New York schools in the art of flying. Many college nutrition departments are contributing materially to solve the problem of better foods at lower cost. These Cornell students are working on methods to condense high vitamin foods for our troops. Knowing the languages of our allies hastens understanding. Experts on Latin America, the Far East, and the British Commonwealth meet in the Cornell workshop with selected high school teachers throughout the country to determine methods of spreading understanding of the United Nations. Colleges are adding new courses for war training and are putting new emphasis on old ones. For example, here at Tulane University in New Orleans, classes in meteorology and celestial navigation now teach students how 1,000 bombers are charted on long raids to their objectives and safely home again. Aiming for duty with the armed forces, men in physics classes study the complex problems of aviation. Tulane's Green Wave Flying Unit. This group will train together in the Navy's Advanced Flying Forces. The Naval ROTC learns how to train a gun on the enemy as part of the study of tactics and science of naval warfare. Army doctors study diseases of the tropics in Tulane's famed medical school. These officers will take care of our soldiers at the tropical fronts. Hampton Institute of Virginia offers many courses to train men and women for our war program. Trained nurses are in urgent demand. This group studies water pollution and methods of discovering it. The chemistry department is doing much research in the development of new war materials that will be more effective than any now known. In the well-equipped machine shops, students are turning out war materials while they learn. Workers from nearby shipyards, as well as students, take advantage of one of the many step-up courses. Sailors, as well as soldiers, are sent to Hampton to take specialized courses. Dartmouth College at Hanover, New Hampshire, started as a school to teach Indians the principles for which we are now fighting. One of the special war courses added to the curriculum often meets on the steps of Old Dartmouth Hall. This class prepares men for the military service they will soon enter. This course is designed to acquaint students with the causes of today's world problems and why we will continue to fight for democratic principles. One of the greatest contributions of the liberal arts colleges is the study of post-war problems. Experts in international affairs guide scientific thinking to the problems that will arise after peace is declared. The need of help at nearby New England farms is met by students who volunteer for part-time work. While they gain physical fitness, they help to meet the shortage of manpower. The University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. In this war of alert, trained persons, students are learning the facts about the world in which we live. In the belief that too little is known about our great ally Brazil, these Portuguese-speaking scholars meet to discuss mutual problems. World regional planning teaches that the way to make a nation strong in war and in post-war reconstruction is to strengthen each region and to provide for a greater unity of national culture and economy. Like the universities of Georgia, Iowa, and St. Mary's, North Carolina houses the Naval Pre-Flight Training School. These hand-picked officers are former coaches and are out to make naval cadets the toughest flyers in the world. New arrivals are immediately given long hours of drill, and in a few days are marching like veterans. One of the most popular parts of the training program is the engineers unit. Physical fitness of all kinds is started early in the morning. and each student must compete in every event. Boxing teaches alertness. Hand-to-hand combat, learning how to fight effectively at close quarters. Track meets strengthen leg muscles. The hard knocks of football toughens bodies. Swimming develops endurance. This program gives cadets confidence to meet any emergency. How to jump from a ship at sea. How to swim to safety under burning oil. Colleges all over the nation now emphasize physical fitness. Here at Harvard, students know the answer to accusations that we are soft. They are determined to prepare for their jobs in all ways. The fatigue laboratory studies reactions to physical exertion and extreme conditions under which human beings may work. It is at present almost entirely devoted to problems connected with the Army and Air Forces. The Center of Chinese and Japanese Studies is the Harvard Yenqing Library, where our Oriental relations get special attention. The famous Harvard Yard is now used by the naval officers for early morning assembly. Quartermaster cadets taking the Advanced Business Administration course are stationed at Harvard for 16 months. In their studies, they learn how to run our many Army camps and to supervise camp kitchens to see that our soldiers get the best of cooked foods. In the far west, the University of California. Hundreds of universities now have a West Point and Annapolis-like appearance as they supplement the training of our great military academies. California has one of the largest and best equipped of the naval ROTC units. College laboratories are contributing new information and materials vital to the war effort. At this California pilot plant, meat, fruit, and other foods are successfully dehydrated to 1/5 their former size. This allows one ship to carry the load of many to our allies and troops abroad. Classes in mechanical designing prepare many girls to take jobs in nearby aviation plants and shipyards. College hospitals give training to girls
Oh, it looks like we had a splice break. And there's some issues. This film is very stinky. It's very vinegared. Craig's like, I don't know if you can run it, and I think we did a pretty good job. It kind of jumped a couple of frames, but yeah, it's so stinky that it's not just vinegar. It's like a vinegar gym sock smell. And sometimes they smell like Fritos, but not in a good way because I like Fritos. So yeah, this room is kind of stinky. My throat has gotten a little sore with that. Yeah, look, a piece of tape popped off of it. And I think that's what made it lose. So anyways, you get the point with that. And one more time, I'm going to post... no, not that. I would love your comments if you tuned in for the AV Geeks show. What did you like about the 24/7 show channel and didn't like? Email me at avgeeks@gmail.com. Maybe I should just do a channel, 24/7 channel, and just have me typing messages to you. I wonder if there's a channel of just that, of like, just typing. And yeah, I would get I'd get one of those IBM, early IBM keyboards that they make the really loud I have to buy a bunch of adapters to get it to work on a Mac. But thank you so much for tuning in today. Thank you, Juliet, for the coffee. One way you can support AV Geeks, besides watching us and hitting the thumbs up button, or the like button, or the subscribe button, is to buy us coffee by going to ko-fi.com/avgeeks. Also, we're going to probably start reworking the Patreon page. Reward people for rewarding us with cash money. But another way is just watch. Go to avgeeks.com, and we have another 24/7 channel that's via this company called Stream.com, STRIMM.com, and Strim.com is what it is. Yeah. Anyways, it's a little problematic, and it doesn't really have the ability to chat, which I think you folks like. So, yeah. Anyways, thanks again for tuning in, and we will be back tomorrow. As always, please rewind and love each other, love yourself, and we will see you soon. Being tomorrow. Goodbye.